It is Championship Sunday, Smite fans. It is Dawson and Mifflin on the desk to bring it to you. Miff, it's been a long Phase 1. We finally got some Smite tournament action, and today we finally got some finals. How big is this one?
I mean, it's the biggest. It's the biggest that we've had all year. Dave, come on, man. Throw me some harder questions. This is as cool as it gets. These guys are competing for $50,000. Are you kidding?
You answered the question, Miff. It was the perfect question. It's massive. It's a huge prize pool that these guys are fighting for, but specifically maybe even bragging rights. Those Pro League points ever so important for the World Championships, the true big one, later on this year. And you look at the two teams we have competing in the finals here today, Radiance versus Ghost, and the roads they had to get here, not too unlike one another. Ghost Gaming haven't lost yet this weekend. Radiance dropping one game in the quarters, one game in the semis, but looking dominant in 3 straight wins in both of the quarterfinals and the semifinals. So now an immovable object versus an unstoppable force, Mifflin. If you're going up against this Hercules Ullr that Ghost are bringing, there's going to be some pressure in that long lane. It is Phase 1 finals time. Ghost versus Radiance. It's Finch and Aggro on the call.
And this is what really separates Ghost, I think, from other teams in the SPL right now, is that they understand that they don't need to be getting kills with their pressure. They are really just using it to get pressure on the map and find their advantages elsewhere without getting first blood.
Well, Sam for Soccer might be giving away first blood. Dash in from Tings. Flame Wave is there, and it is BMT that finds your first blood of the Phase 1 finals into a composition that could beat them into mid to late. But still, a pretty big boon for Radiance to find first blood.
Yeah, if that first blood doesn't happen, I think Ghost is feeling really good. But look at this, a little bit of a setup here as Sam tries to go for his back harpies.
They're waiting on him, Adapting and Benji both. They will use the Dazzling Offensive, and they kill him underneath the Tier 2. What a big play from Radiance, because now that's 2 deaths in a row for the jungler at such a critical time for his farm right before level 5. Could potentially be a big backbreaker for this early game to all of their success. But it is big presence from Ghost and right, but that means Radiance want mid. They go right for Twig, but the Fire Shards gets him up to the sky, so Adapting drops the Fear No Evil. There was literally nothing Twig could do, and it's an easy third kill for Radiance.
PBM can't find that driving strike, but look at this. Around the back come FinoK and Sam.
Trying to drop down the Sentinel of Zeus. Ting's now the one that's in trouble under his Tier 1 tower, and Sam gets the kill. Aurora steps up to help, but FinoK pushes him back out of the tower, so it's a dash in from Benji. Dazzling Offensive, target swaps over to FinoK, but nothing there either. Ghost may have lost Twig, but they did finally get an answer back by taking care of BMT.
Yeah, it was a risky pathing at all by Twig to contest that, but without Mike really in the area at first, Sam and FinoK were getting pressure on the right-hand side. That's not really a mid-camp that you can afford to contest, and he got punished for it, but that's what Nuwa does. She buys a lot of time, she buys a lot of space, and that ends up saving, or at least making sure that Ghost can get something on the return.
Well, the blue buff invade was successful for Radiance, you can tell, because Benji has it, but what about Aurora's life? They are absolutely killing him here. PBM and the boys run him down, and they've brought the kills back closer to parity, 2-3.
That you know that all of your trades are favored. You know, you're playing with house money in that lane, and that's really been FinoK side of the map all weekend.
Cycle spin low here in left, and Panda Cat knows that's kill potential, but the hail of arrows was not enough. Cyclone Spin will have to back, that's why there's pressure on red. Adapting commits the ultimate. Captain Twig with the Fire Shards cleans up Cyclone Spin. The Intoxicate barely, not enough damage to take care of Sam for Soccer, so he lives, but PBM drops the boulder. Adapting blinks out of there. Some really close calls on both sides, but Aurora could be the one who doesn't make it. Panda Cat catches him out, and Ghost find one more.
Commandingly ahead. That's what the Robin, the Hercules, and the Ullr are really designed to do. But you've got great late game potential out of Nike and Nuwa. And it's not like Robin and Ullr and Hercules are completely useless late game.
Right.
I think that they're outscaled by what Radiance has for sure. But it's not like they're not going to contribute.
could still fight, but maybe Mike can't. Stuck in the Fear No Evil, and that will prove to be too much. But Twig pulls one out from underneath Sam for Soccer. Either way, Ghost make it 1-for-1 mid for support, and that's another trade that I think Ghost are going to be happy with. Sure, they lose a Roar, but you're slowly chipping away at Tings. And look, Captain Twig is starting to get ahead, but not if he gets caught out here. Benji making his presence felt in the middle lane, and Twig without fire shards is a sitting duck. Benji takes the kill. Ghost are the ones that are active right now, aggro. They're the ones looking for any opportunity, and of course that includes the Gold Fury. And yet again, it looks like Radiance will be late to this. Aurora is on his way, but Sam for Soccer on zoning duty, and the Fury belongs to Ghost way too easily, and no way for Radiance to punish.
Yeah, no chance anyone from Radiance can get in there, especially without Adapting's ultimate. Benji maybe proxying in an awkward position. I think he got his dash caught. No, it's up still, and good patience from Benji to hold on to it. But Sam is here and ready in order to find this one. Just an easy punish there from Fine OK. That's where that Mystical Mail comes into play. Yep. Cyclone really has to make a choice. He's either got to get some help over there and then play more aggressively with it, or just accept that he's losing that lane like he's done.
Mike gets the beads out from Tings. In goes Sam for Soccer. Big ultimate from Adapting will not be enough to save Tings' life, so Sam grabs that kill. Benji is here with the Dazzling Offensive, but still has the dash. Gets away from the root, and he's retreated behind the Tier 1. But Polar Bear Mike says, "You cannot run from me." Pulls him back in, and Panda Cap puts him in the dirt. It's a Tier 1. Eventually, that will be falling for Ghost Gaming, and they're going to head right over towards the Fire Giant on the back of that. It's a 5 versus 3. They're certainly heavily favored here.
Bit surprised, at where Ghost is going with this Fire Giant. They're not pushing up the left-hand side a whole lot. Yeah, they're going to the right-hand side, which is usually not where we see Fire Giant pushes begin.
Fine OK saw 3 people grouped up, so he hit the trigger, and Cyclone Spin as being pushed away from the Bifrost. Beads to try and make it, but it will not be enough. Fine OK catches the Heimdall and clips his wings. Sam for Soccer over the wall, finds the root. Aurora in trouble, has the belt, but overhead kick immunes it. Intoxicate will not be enough, and Ghost Gaming find the 2 for 0. We thought they were going to right, but they'll take whatever fight they get and can just start pushing right down mid.
And this is where the Nuwa gets even more value, because you've got those clay minions in order to tank up this Phoenix for you. No wave coming. Who needs it if you're Ghost? You're going to be able to take this Phoenix easily.
Whoa. It looks like they're going to try and put this game down. Game 1 of the finals already in the balance. Adapting drops the Fear No Evil, and Fine OK is being brought down low, in fact killed at this point. Ghost may have overstepped. Adapting takes care of Captain Twig, but Sam for Soccer responds in kind. It will not be an in-call. Radiance pushed them out of their base.
Yeah, that was ambitious by Ghost, and they're going to have to contest with an angry Cyclone Spin who finds his way back into the fray.
Sam for Soccer has the overhead kick, sure, but Cyclone Spin gets the shutdown bonus, will not be allowing you to get away with it for free, and he's continuing to push right down mid. I think Radiance are starting to think, what can we get in response from this overstep from Ghost Gaming? They're heading towards Primal Fury, it looks like, so instead of towers, they'll settle for this late game objective that'll make it easier to do Fire Giants later on.
I'm a little nervous if I'm a Ghost fan for sure, because take a step back. All the momentum has been Ghost. They've won every fight besides that one. Everything's coming up Ghost. But look at the numbers. We're even in XP. It's less than a 2K gold lead. And yes, Ghost have that mid Phoenix down, but there's still tier towers on each side lane. Those Phoenixes aren't really exposed. I don't really think Ghost is in a commanding position anymore. They can get it back, don't get me wrong. The only reason they lost that fight is because they had the Titan to deal with, who was awfully tanky. You're at 99% to win that game at that point, you know? Now, if you lose, your chances of ending the game right there is less than the risk of letting Radiance back in my mind.
Polar Bear Mike starts the fight off by pulling Benji back into the team. Fine OK with a long wrap around. Tries to find a little bit more damage, but he'll leap in. No hard commit, though. He followed up with Captain Twig's ultimate. Has brought everyone on Radiance down low and given Ghost some free information. But what can they find with that information is the question. Fire Giant still has not been started yet as Ghosts continue to bide their time. See if they can force Radiance in.
I mean, this poke that Captain Twig is putting out with his ultimate will hold onto Radiance. It's what makes that Terra ban even more important from Ghost Gaming, but still not a huge chunk of damage like we'll be seeing later on. It's not that much.
Fire Giant's down to half. Ghost have a decent amount of damage, but Radiance are certainly here to contest. Final K goes in. Ultimate does hit 3 and slow them. The boulder there as well, but Adapting goes to the back line, looking for Panda Cat. Benji there as well, and Panda Cat never got to play Smite. Polar Bear Mike with the driving strike does try to control Aurora, but Aurora is a man on a mission to make Twig more vulnerable. Adapting wants a secondary kill, and Benji's right there to get it. Now PPM has been ulted by Cyclone Spin. They know exactly where he shall be landing, and it's into the grave. Radiance find the 3 for 0, and suddenly Ghost regretting that end call.
And remember, the only Primal Fury has actually gone Radiance's way. That's a situation where Primal is really important for a team like Ghost to just take less damage on these are we on, are we off sort of calls. You can't do that without it nearly as well.
Fine, okay, the only one nearby to steal. He doesn't have the ultimate, so the steal potential is so low at this point. In fact, he's already dead. Sanford Soccer lurking too, with the Fire Shards coming through to lower some HP, but Radiance able to secure the Fire Giant, grabbing their first one of this game and giving themselves a chance to finally be in this driver's seat. But that Fire Giant fight, again, really a backbreaker for Ghost. A killing blow of its own kind as Aurora moves in first. Fear No Evil to counter the dive from Ghost. Adapting makes another big play, but Ghost still stand pretty comfortably. Twig gets the kill onto Aurora, and Final K has Benji zoned out from the fight. So PBM moves in under the veil of darkness, gets caught out by the ultimate from Cyclone Spin, but Panda Cat is there to provide the damage, and PBM with the driving strike is able to reposition. Radiance's first attempt to crack the base has already floundered.
And try and hit a Hercules too, then when they're trying to come into you and you're able to walk up and easily find those Earthbreakers.
Benji, rather, forces Final K to jump back. PBM grabs him with the pull, and Panda Cat's damage very relevant here at this point. Dazzling Offensive used, and it doesn't find much at all, so Final K steps in. Cyclone Spin is in his clutches, but the Bifrost allows him to retreat. But now Aurora in some trouble, gets caught out by damage. PBM pulls him back in, and Panda Cat is there. Aurora will be the one that falls first. Benji still has the dash, but Sanford Soccer says no. Over the wall with the ultimate, and Benji gets locked down as well. Suddenly, Radiance without a front line have to give up this next Fire Giant. I mean, maybe they can find a steal, but who can step in safely?
It's going to have to be Big Man Tings, I think. He's the only one who has an ultimate available with those bombs. He's doing good work on it. Fine, okay, Fine's getting pretty low here. Has to be careful.
He's still standing right outside that ring. Adapting and Tings know how important this enhanced Fire Giant is, but they cannot contest. After all these ups and downs, now it's Ghost that's back in control. Fire Giant on all 5 members.
This Hercules pick is not just to snowball the early game. In the early game, it's doing this displacement, but also bringing a lot of the damage by himself. He just needs help now.
A big fight in left lane, not on Phoenix's, but just in the middle of the lane. Twig goes up to the sky for safety and damage, but Tings claims his life. Fear No Evil catches out Polar Bear Mike as well. Have Ghost made a misstep in the late game? Aurora cuts down Polar Bear Mike. Final K, though, is still chasing. Adapting and Tings are both low and in range. Panda Cat has already removed Cyclone Spin. Adapting will fall as Panda Cat gets the double. They may have lost 2 members, but Ghost now in control of this fight, locking down Benji and giving Final K a double as well. It's just BMT to try and keep the game alive up against 3.
Looks like it might be coffins for Radiance here in game number 1 because Ghost is right back. Hey, we've been here before. Mid Phoenix looking for the end. And Big Man Tings, we've seen a lot of mid laners have incredible defenses. He's going to have the best one yet.
It'll have to be truly impressive to somehow burst this. They have all the damage they can want in Panda Cat and all the tankiness they can need in Final K. They must stay spaced. These Agni bombs are huge, so Final K brings the fight to Tings. Panda Cat backs out, and with Tings dead, it's the deicide. Too much damage, and Ghost Gaming take game 1 of your Phase 1 finals.
It's an if-can sort of question. Radiance looking to bounce back in game number 2. Can they do it? Finch and Aggro will let us know.
Unruly Magic can be a good tool in that regard, as there's another blue buff invade materializing. Ghost have 4 members here, but so do Radiance for defense, but Aurora is a little bit too alone way on the top side. They cannot lock him down, but they will force out the shell, and they're not done looking for the blue. Benji jumps in, but PBM blinks past for Aurora. Not enough for the kill, though the boulder gets him low, and now they can collapse in the 4v1. Benji left all on his own. Hammer connects, but Sam can't get the kill. Even still, Benji lives, but they'll take the blue buff invade. They work so hard.
You've got to plan your resets. So Sam actually in a pretty good position. He's a little bit late to this, but still close enough that it can go well.
FineOK goes in basically alone. He has been abducted. They're going to need Sam's ultimate sooner rather than later. He dunks down. That stops adapting. Dead in his tracks. The execute off the mark yet again, but first blood for Ghost. Benji responds in kind by taking care of FineOK, but suddenly Ghost have the 3v2 advantage. Tings does show up as well, but Ghost have gotten what they came here for. A nice first blood kill, and they make it back out.
And that's where being just slightly late really matters, because Fine takes too much damage, but so does Benji. Hello? What happened there? He's backing at 120 HP on a ward, and Sam just walks up and double taps him over the wall. Just a bit of a lazy back there from Benji ends up making that play better for Ghost than it really needed to be.
Because I don't think adapting was there to defend. He was over on this left side looking for a gank, as what's happening to Twig is a great reenactment. Tings puts him in the dirt to even up the kill count for Radiance. So a pretty critical return kill that Radiance were able to find, but don't get it twisted. Still 1,000 gold lead developing here for Ghost. Sam for Soccer abducted early. FineOK moving in to try and lock down Aurora. The wall cuts off the escape path, and Sam takes to the sky. But where to dunk? Aurora clearly grouped up. Tings and Adapting starting to group up as well. So he heads for the monkey in the back line, gets the stun, but disengages. That's enough peel for the rest of Ghost to start surging forward. They can't find any kills, but he kept Adapting from following up off the Fear No Evil.
Really a bit of an awkward fight so far. A lot of low health bars here for Ghost, and they're going to need Twig to heal him up.
Captain Twig being pushed out, though. Adapting doesn't want to give him the chance, but Mike blinks in with the driving strike, and the monkey gets flattened. FineOK pulled back in. Strife there, too, and Benji gets the kill on the Achilles while the ultimate is still available. But Sam for Soccer stepping forward wants a bit more action. Where is this pathing from Sam trying to come back up through the tower, uses the beads and the hammer to get back through. So Cyclone Spin, the hunter, who's on this side of the map, has to find the snipes. He hits all 3, but it just was not enough damage. Meanwhile, Panda Cat should be able to keep pushing this tier 1 and left.
Yeah, but Radiant still got that blue buff, though. It's still up. They didn't lose it this time. They didn't get it invaded whenever they are playing that style. I think that they need to remember that.
Aurora gets pulled in. Adapting does get the Fear No Evil off, but a great wall stops the follow-up. Mike puts the boulder down onto 2 members, and Radiance have to fall back. But remember, that was Aurora being pulled in. That was Ghost looking to start a fight. And even though they don't get him, they've pushed enough members out to where they can start up this next Fury. And they don't have to worry about Fear No Evil. Cyclone Spin gets clipped as well, but Benji is in the backline. Snipes come out from Cyclone Spin, so the Fury is reset. His ultimate gets nothing. It's Sam now that's in the air, looking for a target to dunk, and it's Benji. That pushes him back out, and the Fury gets grabbed again, but FineOK takes too much damage, barely survives, execute too early, so not only does Aurora live, but he gets off the execute too. Finally, Ghost do claim the Gold Fury, but again, it feels like a bit closer than maybe it had to be. This game has quietly made it to the 19-minute mark. Only been 6 kills so far, not a ton of action, and not a ton of separation between these squads either, but perhaps the Pyromancer could be the catalyst for that. It falls down to about half HP, but Radiance still lurking nearby, waiting for their moment. Aurora ducks in, gets pushed to the team. Radiance actually grab the Pyromancer because it's dropped by Ghost. Again, Aurora gets off the res without the execute this time as PBM finds the kill. Aurora drops early. Fear No Evil is good, but Ghost survive it well. They can keep pushing right on through it, but Radiance are fully done with the skirmish at this point. Cyclone Spin retreating under the tier 1, Adapting way off on his own side to the left. They lose Ghost, or rather they lose Aurora, but they do get the Pyromancer.
And this is where hell can be problematic if Ghost just decide to start grouping and shoving down towers, but looks like instead they're going to try and make sure that they punish Adapting for his overextension. Sam nearly ended up getting the worst end of that one, but Panda Cat will make sure that it's actually the enemy jungler that takes a trip back to base the hard way. But that's something that's happened twice now, and that's game-losing stuff if you do that in the late game.
Sam trying to hit Cyclone Spin, but so far, he's still full HP, doesn't have the ultimate though, and has already used the Aegis, so unlikely he survives here. That's just a good gank from Sam for Soccer onto Cyclone Spin. They just have to be a bit careful about which engagements they choose to take. But Ghost aren't giving them any good ones. They force down the tier 1. Now they're looking for red. Ghost are trying to pick a fight actively at this point, and Radiance finally obliged. Benji has Spino K locked down near Aurora, but he's the only one outputting damage. Meanwhile, the rest of Ghost take the red. Sam for Soccer pressures the tier 2. They're perfectly happy with the way this fight's going so far.
And Ghost barely use any relics at all in that engagement, whereas they get Tings' beads, they get the red buff, and they're going to let Sam get some pressure on this left-hand tier 2.
Polar Bear Mike comes in to try to capitalize, walking right on through to try and find a driving strike. Panda Cat puts in good damage that forces Benji's hand. Adapting comes over the wall with a big Fear No Evil. Good coordination, but it wasn't quite enough damage. A good pull from PBM gives some space to Panda Cat to try and keep him alive, but right there with the Abduct is a roar, and Panda Cat cannot live through it all. They commit too much trying to find the tier 2 tower, and it costs him his life. Now Ghost on the full disengage. The rest of Radiance, though, starting to feel it. Cyclone Spin rolling in, Benji blinking past as well, but Fine OK keeps holding that W. They're full on retreating, and Radiance still have not found the punish. Another good wall from over the wall, and Ghost should be out.
That's huge, but that was a bit of a miscommunication, I think, from Ghost. The rest of the team, that 3v3 in the lane was all there to ready to defend that tier 2, but the rest of the team was just too late getting there to assist.
Fine OK has been pulled in, Execute used more for the CC immunity than for the kill as they pull Aurora back into the tower. He has the Scarab's Blessing on himself, it certainly will proc, and he cannot live at this point. Adapting falls elsewhere as well, so even in the scenarios where things are going about as bad for Ghost as they can, they're still coming out ahead. It's a 2-for-1. Now Ghost, fully grouped up and left. Cyclone Spin not here for this, and Polar Bear Mike can relay that information, but the rest of Radiance are here to play defense. Sam is in the sky, looking for a target as Fine OK holds aggro, and he ends up trying to land on Aurora. Has to hammer back out of there. He does make it, but boy was it close, and all the while, Fine OK takes damage for free. Cyclone Spin still running from PBM, who does find the pull and bring him back in for a bit more damage. I'm surprised Cyclone Spin hasn't tried to look for more return damage, but now Sam is on his way. This lone mission that Cyclone Spin went on could suddenly become costly as Sam for Soccer puts him in a coffin. The rest of Ghost Gaming, though, are in a 3v4 at the left side. Phoenix, Fear No Evil from Adapting, spreads everybody out. Fine OK in trouble, and Panda Cat falls first. In fact, Fine OK now in trouble as well. Overhand smash gives Adapting a double kill. I question the Unbots, and I shall question no longer as he puts Ghost on their heels. Benji denies the triple, but still a fantastic fight from Adapting.
And now this is getting risky because PBM and Sam have tried to come here and help, but now they're the ones that need the help. Sam, no beads. He used them earlier. That's going to be 4 kills now.
Right.
Why is Ghost there? Why is Ghost on that left side Phoenix? Because, of course, as soon as Radiance sees Sam on that other side of the map, they're going to hit the gas pedal.
Well, Mike does find one nice kill onto Aurora as the rest of Radiance try and threaten this tier 2 tower in left. They've got a minion wave, Benji here as well, so that tier 2 is coming down, but yet again, ourselves a relatively even fight around this Fire Giant. All relics should be up a few seconds from them being up for Mike and Panda Cat. Aurora's been pulled into the back line, but Fine OK took quite a bit of poke as well. Benji steps forward. The Apple of Discord comes through and does land in the back line onto Twig. That brings him down to half. The Fear No Evil is onto Twig as well. Adapting has taken the hell out of the fight instantaneously. Sam looks for Tings in the back line, but they still have the res, and the Execute coming up from Fine OK is just not there. Adapting low in the back line though, so Panda Cat cuts him down, but Cyclone Spin will not be outdone. He gets the kill on the Fine OK as well to even things back up. Benji wants to try and collect Panda Cat, can't get there, but Cyclone Spin on a rampage cuts down Sam for Soccer. That ends up being a 3-for-1 for Radiance. This late game has turned on its head. and start up the Fire Giant yet again. Still a ways away from the Aegis for Sam, 10 seconds there, no blink for Mike, so they're waiting a little bit on some of these relics to come back up, but so are Tings. He has his beads back now, Aegis 20 seconds away. It's a bit double-sided as Adapting goes in first with the Fear No Evil that spreads the fight out. Sam waits up above for his primary target, does see a roar, but looks for Cyclone Spin to the back instead, doesn't get anything with the dunk. The wall is good too, and Benji gets a nice res so that he will not fall. Everyone's still standing as Sam could not quite time the hammer to clip Benji. So Ghost, though, with the healthier health bars, start to push forward.
It's gonna be pretty important though, because if you can get a Phoenix like that low, and now an Oni wave comes in, it's easy for Radiance to put pressure on Fire.
Aurora does find the Abduct and a fine okay. The wall means he can't be pulled quite as far, but Cyclone Spin is still on the Oni Fury. Does not get pulled by Polar Bear Mike, but it's a two-man driving strike. Some follow-up, but that was the front line, so they're relatively tanky for it. Oni Fury again pulled. Cyclone Spin steps on the gas, but Sam is way in the back line of this fight. I don't know if they know exactly where he's positioned. Fine okay does take some damage. Wall comes through as well. That means a double bounce from this boulder, and Sam sees everybody clumped up, but where does he choose to dunk? Patient with it, he goes for Tings, doesn't really find anything. That's twice in a row, but I don't know that Sam has gotten enough value out of this ultimate, and Radiance will grab the Oni Fury. It hasn't really panned out for them. It feels like they'd be a bit better off being more all-in instead of this poke-centric fight. I know that the healing is pretty good in that situation, but Radiance certainly are the better team from range at this point. It has made it a bit hard for Ghost to find their way in. Mike does find the pull. Benji tries to step forward as well too, but it's a good strife damage from far away. Benji has already used the Sentinel of Zeus at this point. It is brought fine okay, very low indeed. Sam loses the battle with Adapting, so must use his ultimate defensively. That's now 3 if you're keeping tally of these Anvil of Dawns that haven't gotten a lot in the late game. They've been mostly defensive. So now Radiance start up the Fire Giant. It's down to about half HP, and Ghost, even low on resources, have to step in. Final K's in the backside, but Polar Bear Mike pops instantly. Radiance put him in the CC chain, and he cannot live through it. But after all that, they can't stay on the Fire Giant. Radiance fall back, and the Fire Giant slowly starts to heal up, but he's still relatively low, only at half, so Radiance can step forward and start this up without having to do all the work, and that forces Ghost to start to come right back in. Fine okay has to be the front line for them, but the steal potential is low. Radiance confirmed the objective yet again, and should be good for the disengage. It feels almost like Radiance have the hell to me, man. They've been playing these fights so methodically and patiently, and they've been burning Ghost out of all these engagements. So Polar Bear Mike looks to try and even up the score with a two-man driving strike. Fear No Evil forced out from Adapting, so Sam comes back in with his dunk as well, but Benji goes to the back line with the Sentinel of Zeus. That hits 3 and starts to push Ghost Gaming back out, so he looks in for even more. Benji keeps 3 members busy all by himself, but there's the execute we needed from Fine OK, but boy does he pay for it. A 2-for-1 for Radiance and the left side Phoenix.
If you can keep her at a distance, her damage is really, really unconfirmable. It's really hard to do it guaranteed.
And Adapting has found Sam for Soccer all alone in an expedition to the long lane, but that is Adapting's place. He takes care of Sam for Soccer in the 1v1, and that's 60 seconds where Radiance have the 5v4 advantage. Unfortunate, but you know Adapting willing to capitalize in those moments, finds the kill, and Radiance do want to try and find the game in that window. Still 4 members of Ghost that are here. Boulder to soften up that minion wave so that Ghost can clear it and put the aggro onto someone on Radiance. Twig gets pulled in, cleanse on himself, still alive, and the Titan's still relatively healthy. Aurora gets pulled in, puts the res on himself, but there's the execute from Fine OK, so Aurora ends up going down. This looked like it was Radiance looking to make a big play in the late game, but instead, could this all be Ghost? Tings pulled back in by BMT, and he will fall right away. Captain Twig gets the kill credit. Benji has to use the ultimate defensively, leaps away, but Ghost are here, hounding him every step of the way. PBM pulls him back, and the rest of Ghost are waiting. But look at the minions pouring into the Titan room. Yes, Ghost are surging, but Adapting, always present, always mindful of the state of the game, drops the Fear No Evil on the Titan, and goes for the solo win all by himself. Ghost may have won the fight, but Adapting trying to put the game to bed. He cannot find it though. Ghost move back and keep their Titan standing. Can they even defend in their base? The Titan is so low at this point that if Radiance force their way in, they can just end it. Now, good news. Phoenix about to come back up in the long lane. Mid-Phoenix will not be too far behind that, but look at Benji. He's trying to get there and keep pressure on this Titan before they can actually get the Phoenixes back up and heal. Even if they don't get the Titan, if they can just get this left side Phoenix, it will not be able to restore. So Sam goes up to the sky to try and dunk down. He wants to keep Cyclone Spin out, but Cyclone Spin just puts him in the dirt. And now Benji's made his way to the Titan, drops down the Sentinel of Zeus. He can take this for
smart.
days. Benji goes to end it. Adapting sets it all up for him, and Radiance have tied up the set.
So smart, knowing that Cyclone doesn't have to get into the Titan room in order to end. He just has to have someone tank it, because that Titan is immune if it's not hitting someone. So they send Benji to go tank, and Cyclone's ult is going to be there to help end after the fact. Just well played by Radiance, man. They certainly deserved to win that game. I think Ghost just made too many errors.
I might just be able to snowball this one out of control. If you're trying to dance with Ghost in the early game, better hope you're wearing the right shoes. Radiance, they've got a good draft for it. Can they out-duel this early game team in Ghost? That's the question that remains to be answered. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Mifflin. This one could be back and forth. One team could snowball it out of control. That's the beauty of Smite. That's the beauty of Game 3. John Finch, take us in.
Well, their 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 is pretty strong for Radiance. So it's kind of a situation where if Ghost members walk in, we're fine taking this fight.
But I don't think they were expecting this. An all-in collapse around the red buff as Ghost Gaming hit the trigger.
Oh.
But Adapting dunks on the 4. Final K gets first blood. Responded to by Adapting. Aurora low in the back, but it's really only Mike trying to stick to him, so no kill potential there. The red buff is successfully stripped away by Ghost, and they get first blood, so it is a win, but they lose a kill in return.
Makes a lot more sense. It lets you scale better.
Polar Mike takes a lot of damage, but he does not buckle. Adapting in the sky, and Sam for Soccer right after the ultimate comes out, avoids all the damage coming out from him, even gets the extra ticks off of Volcanic Lightning. Sam may have died, but what a way to turn that around and at least make it 1-for-1. So the rest of Ghost come in to capitalize. Aurora falls down first. Captain Twig gets the credit. Shining Metal and the rest of Ghost are on their way. It's a blink in from Fino K to try and push Benji back into range. The slow is there as well. Fino K doesn't give up on the play, so Captain Twig can capitalize. Ghosts suddenly find a 3-for-1.
Push out from your tower line all the way to their tier 2, then strip away backs and blue is a really good way to get ahead, and this is what good junglers do. They just find windows.
Man fight happening in left, though. Gets a little bit of outside interference from the new Wa and the cavalry that is on their way. Aurora looks at the driving strike to try and push one out, but Cyclone Spins low right away. That forces the Undying Love, so Aurora gets no help. He falls. Cyclone Spin joins him, and Tings has no hope of surviving here. A double kill for Fino K as Adapting and Benji are forced to look on from the side. They never got to impact that fight. It was basically a 4-on-3. So Ghost enjoy about a 3,000 gold lead, and he already covered the experience deficit, and Aurora has been locked down. Aurora deleted. That's a Hercules, right? But he falls quickly. Ghost catch him out of position. Now it's time to start up the Fire Giant. Radiance are really not set for this defense, but remember they have gap closing abilities. And Adapting can come in with the Anvil of Dawn. Benji is right here, front and center, and has to go into the Dazzling Offensive relatively early. It does lock down Sam for Soccer, but no one could test the FG. Adapting does win the battle up against Sam elsewhere, but Ghost put Fire Giant on the other 4 remaining members, and they're trying to lock down Benji. Panda Cat just wanted to get in range for follow-up damage, but Big Man Tings threatens the tier 2 in left. Adapting and Cyclone Spin force down the tier 1 in mid. Ghost got the FG, but Radiance have found some good work of their own.
Yeah, they've split the map pretty effectively here, and Sam, again, kind of just doing his job in that moment. He's just making sure that Radiance is paying attention to him. He peels away from FG instead of towards his team, which was really, really smart because it makes Benji in particular, but Adapting as well, have to make a choice.
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do about new wall point blank there, Cyclone Spin, but you can hold all of that damage, my man. Mike ends up getting the kill credit, but Clay Soldiers and the Shining Metal point blank it's a recipe for disaster every time. And this is good work from FineOK. He's basically kept 3 people from defending, so the tier 2 tower goes down for free, and all this Phoenix damage is free as well. And a perfect cripple field means Aurora cannot driving strike. The mid Phoenix does come down, and perhaps disaster averted, but Adapting is a one-man wrecking crew right to the back line to remove Panda Cat, but big man Tings has Sam for soccer right on him, cuts down the mid lane Aphrodite. Adapting moves in, does get the double, but Polar Bear Mike gets the return. So it's 2 for 2, plus the Phoenix in favor of Ghost. They're not done yet. FineOK jumps in. They're looking for the low HP bar of Benji, but they don't have the damage yet. Twig gets pulled back in by Radiance so that Benji can grab another kill. Ghost got the mid Phoenix, but they're losing some lives on the back end.
PBM gonna have to try and juke, but FineOK still full health and mana. Someone's gonna have to answer him eventually in this team fight, or they're gonna have to force him back because he's the only one left. Looks like it might be the latter as PBM falls as well. They're just towing that line of being over-aggressive. They've overstayed a lot so far in this set. In their, the game 1 try to end call, all that kind of stuff has been a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm sure, for their fans.
Well, Sam could have lost beats just now, but Aurora just a bit off the mark with the driving strike is the only difference. Mike's right in the thick of it. Joining him is FineOK, hitting everyone with the Sentinel of Zeus. Tychospin dies instantly. Adapting cannot save him. Tings falls as well. Aurora gets caught out by Panda Cat, and he will fall right into the thick of it. The cripple field is there, and no chance of surviving for the Hercules. That means the rest of Ghost can just start pushing down mid, but that should be game. It's a 5v2. Adapting and Benji would love to find a defense, but how much can they do up against the entirety of Ghost Gaming's Mike? Polar Bear Mike blinks in first to try and stun up Adapting. The rest of Ghost, they're on the Titan. Benji gets pulled away by Sam for soccer as the Titan falls lower and lower, and there just isn't enough Radiance can do. Ghost find the lead in this set 2-1.
This is a massive game. Ghost Gaming, they can take the entire set if they're able to win it here in Game 4. We'll go down to Finch and Aggro to decipher some Hindu men scribbling in the script.
I just don't love the Aphrodite. When the Hell game goes as wrong as it did for Ghost, and they lose these late game team fights, it makes me a little bit concerned that they won't be able to play around this healer as well as they want to in the late game.
Mike has been a disruptive force so far in this early game, and it looks like that trend will continue. Radiance do invade the red buff, but can they really get Adapting out of there? He's so far into enemy territory, but can Mike keep up with him? Meanwhile, Tings gets collapsed on. Sam for soccer, able to find first blood in the Thanatos, and that's about as scary as an early game start can go for you, Radiance. You did not want Sam coming out of the gates hot. It's worked. Roid, Cycle, and Spin are ahead of Panda Cat and Mike, but as you said, it all has now worked to give Sam for soccer a great start to this game. As they're ready to try an all-in commit, the root has landed, and Mike's out of mobility. He could certainly fall here. Cyclone Spin can find the autos, able to force it in, and Mike does eventually get punished.
Really effectively, but I like the pressure that Radiance is putting on. They aren't waiting around for the game to come to them.
No, they're going right to Panda Cat, and nothing that the ROM can do with just beads, no ultimate. Adapting makes short work of him to find the second kill of the game for Radiance.
But that does matter less to a Nike than most other solos.
Ghosts have 3 members here as the silence lands onto Adapting. The scythe still being held by Sam. He'll wait for the confirmed driving strike into the boulder. Mike gets the kill into Adapting, and now the execute's ready. If they can just get Aurora into the execute threshold. It does not happen though. Aurora makes it out, and Sam wisely retreats back to the team. They'll take that kill into Adapting without giving anything back.
No, Adapting's still in a good spot in order to be an impact player. Tings has a lead on the Raijin, which is a god that can really punish Aphrodite really, really easily. With Tycho drums, it's just, there's never a good opportunity to use that Undying Love, it feels like.
Mike gets aggressive, driving strike into the boulder. Sam will make it up to the ultimate in time, so he is relatively safe. FineOK goes to his ultimate as well. This is all about the blue buff invade, but Sam is too low to be a part of this fight anymore. It's a 3-on-4 if Ghost wants to stay a part of it, and it looks like they really don't. The best they can do is try and steal the blue while Radiance pull it, but that's why Radiance are being patient. They fall back, but Ghost reinitiate. They are able to come in and strip the blue buff away after all, even though they don't find any picks. And they might even be able to collapse on the Tings. He's pushed up.
Should be an easy kill for Panda if he can be accurate. Just needs 1 or 2 shots out of this Astral Barrage, and you know Panda Cat's landing those. Great rotation from Ghost Gaming's Hunter towards the mid.
And I don't think Teams is expecting it. Maybe they could find a turnaround, but Mike still has the ultimate.
Put pressure on solo lane consistently. You've gotten Final K in a comfortable spot. Sam continues to be a problem for all members of Radiance, and really Captain Twig has also been the beneficiary of not needing to worry about the pressure.
Benji is certainly going to die here. Mike able to take care of that one with the Blink driving strike, and Benji gets flattened for his first death to further limit the farm, not just for Benji, but for adapting as well. But this could be a good collapse. Driving strike allows Mike to reposition, uses the ultimate for CC immunity, but he was stuck inside the Suns. A much-needed kill there for Aurora, and they're waiting on Cyclone Spin once he lands as well, or Panda Cat rather, adapting, gets that one, and suddenly Radiance in the left lane have found a 2-for-0. But maybe Sam can clean this up. Is in execute threshold, is Aurora, and Sam is patient to collect the kill. Now they turn back towards adapting, where Twig gets the stun. Undying Love to immune all the damage, but it's still too much for Sam, and Ghost have now overstepped. Not too bad from Ghost on the backside of a losing fight, as now Fino K deep in enemy territory, has the ultimate, channels it in time, and he should be safe to get out of there at this point.
A little greedy to use that first charge offensively. That means that he's going to die for this. Yeah, that's just a bad mistake by the solo laner here for Ghost. No reason to ever use that first charge to get damage. Maybe it's bought enough space, though, for Ghost to go gold, but I don't think so. I don't think they've got the damage.
No, and Cyclone Spin is here just in time to slow it down. He'll drop the Sun so that he can continue to contest. Ghost go for it. That was riskier than they would have liked, but they're able to confirm the objective. Now the Oni Fury started up by Team Radiance. They've got it down to half, and Ghost have largely disengaged. Final K, in fact, has back at this point. Might TP back in to the Tier 1 tower and left, and he does try and rejoin them, but the Fury's still leashed. Aurora is too low. Up goes Panda Cat with the snipes, and he finds the final one. Aurora dies with the Scarab's Blessing in his back pocket. It was never used. Now Sam dunks in, does force out some relics as Mike is a bit too low. Should end up falling with Benji rotating in and this low, but even still he survives. Ghost keeps every member up.
Man, Aurora just didn't use the Scarab's Blessing right there. Sam would have certainly cleaned him up, but it would have made him use that ultimate differently, as right back towards the Gold Fury. Go Ghost Gaming. Cyclone's still fairly healthy, but no relics. He's got to be careful.
He's stepping in, though. He wants to contest. Radiant strip away the Oni Fury from Ghost and even get the kill on the Panda Cat, but Cyclone Spin is very low, as you highlighted. Adapting comes in, gets silenced. It doesn't quite have the damage. Gets popped by Captain Twig. Tings has enough for the Taiko drums to come back up a second time, as Mike is in trouble over near the middle lane. He'll fall, but Tings is completely at this point. Hard to imagine that he can survive if Sam is willing to commit, but a perfect abduct from Aurora prevents Sam from finding the scythe and the heal. The rest of Ghost now completely falling back. They lost the Fury and the fight at third slot. Not uncommon for Aphrodite's to get a defensive type item, but does mean there won't be much extra damage. The Fire Giant now started by Radiance. Technically still behind in terms of gold, but they like this game state. Big Man Tings, you said you can't count a lot of bad Taiko drums. Well, that's another one without a ton of upfront value. Sam has taken to the side, though, looking for a place to land with this dunk. He heads towards Benji to get the stun, but Benji responds with the Thorns and a brand new health bar courtesy of the Sentinel of Zeus. Long-range root from Aurora, but Aurora gets pulled in, and suddenly Mike, now abducted, can't ever get the heal off. Don't get to mitigate those wounds, and so it's Radiance that come away with the 1-for-0 pick.
I'm just a little bit worried that it's going to take Ghost too long to get to that point. Final K in trouble, has to use that ultimate really early on yet again.
Purely defensively, I think that was the ricochet stun from Cyclone Spin that really caused a problem, either that or the root from Aurora, but either way, Final K is done with this engagement, and almost useless. Yorm loses a lot of value when he does not have that ultimate to get out, because he's such a massive target. Now Radiance can start up the Fire Giant, but they'll look for the fight instead. Aurora does get low, that's the Cursed Donk coming out as well, but he drops the res on himself. Cyclone Spin low, but Tings has already gotten rid of Sam for soccer. They all in commit onto Mike in the back as well, and suddenly Big Man Tings has a double kill. Benji keeps Twig and Panda Cat completely out of the fight, and Radiance should be able to take down this Fire Giant no problem.
Fine, okay, maybe can try and sneak in and go lurking underneath the depths and use that spit or try and seal it away. The Ghost is kind of counting on this Yorm, but Radiance decides, why don't we just kill him instead of the objective?
They hold DPS entirely, but they might still have done enough. Look how low Radiance are. They can't start the Fire Giant back up, so I know FineOK died, but I think he did his job. Now Benji adapting her low, and PandaCat is on the hunt, trying to catch back up to them, puts Benji down, and might even be able to catch up to adapting, but he will back behind the wall. But PandaCat sniffed it out, rolling in, finds the arrow, and stops adapting from getting the back. Have Ghost somehow done enough to where they can hold on?
Looks like it. They clean up adapting as well, and even though the front line was turned to shambles, it's good enough. But now comes Big Man Tings, Tycho Drums immune, and PandaCat and Twig still standing strong.
The Undying Love gets huge value there. Big Man Ting's in trouble. He does manage to get the kill on the PandaCat, and that's a pretty big deal. His sustained damage is huge for Ghost at this point, but how do Ghost turn that fight around? It looked like Radiance had a guaranteed FG, but FineOK bought so much time. They took so much damage from the Fire Giant they couldn't stick around. And now Cyclone Spin, their only hope for defending the Fire Giant, he gets pulled in, forced to use the dive bomb defensively, so Ghost can turn right back to the FG, but Cyclone Spin sticking around. They pop the Frenzy, send a couple members on zoning duty, and that is enough. Ghost will now be able to claim the FG. Ghost already have 2 wins and are trying to put this set to bed right here and now. Radiance right outside it. Their game plan was to wait for this point in the game and trust in their team fighting in the late game. So can it work when they're looking down the barrel of such a deficit? 9,000 gold or so that favors Ghost. They're hovering around, certainly ready to defend.
Gotta be looking at Big Man Tings. How much damage can he get off early? And that's a good start. About half HP onto PBM.
Yeah, Mike's low already. Took way more damage than he was bargaining for there. Banshee puts a little bit more into FineOK, and Radiance are stepping up now. They know they've done enough, but remember, it's Hercules linked to an Aphrodite. He's going to heal this up relatively quickly. So even though they got that poke, it's certainly not permanent. Ghost should be right back and ready to go here in just another rotation of abilities.
Good steal from FineOK as well. That Pyromancer steal can be very relevant in fights like this, just getting back to the fight as soon as possible.
And Ghost are ready to all in re-engage. The Frenzy popped, and FineOK has used the ultimate. He's right into the back line looking for these knockups. PandaCat's in the sky as well to try and find some snipes. But what about Sam? He's falling way too low. Adapting gets the kill and even gets revived by Aurora. This is big for Radiance. They've got FineOK low. Big Man Tings cuts him down. Tycho Drums point blank range onto PBM even with the heal. Cyclone Spin cuts him down. Ghost Gaming get blown up on their Fire Giant Siege, and Radiance now in control.
And now Radiance are going to be knocking on the door of the Titan.
They might just have to ban it as the right side Phoenix does crumble, but Radiance will not overstep. FineOK was a second away from spawning. Sam, Twig, and PandaCat were all up to defend. So Radiance happily take that right side Phoenix, and now they'll look for the back. But look at this from FineOK. He's teleported in. Ghost are chasing as well. They want to find a pincer, and Jormungandr cannot be sneaky. I like the idea, but they have to have an idea. But now, though, that he's in stealth, maybe he can find Cyclone Spin. The knockup is there. He gets some good damage and goes into the ultimate right away to look for more knockups. PandaCat takes to the sky as well to pump out some damage. It's adapting that has to use his ultimate defensively. Sam goes to the sky as well with the ultimate. Sees that Adapting's at execute threshold, and Sam finds it when they needed him most, and even has survived throughout all the damage. That means Mike can re-engage, pull a roar right back to the waiting clutches. They put that res onto the lowest value target, that is the Khepri himself, so Mike can keep up the chase. Ghost may have lost the FG, but they're the ones surging.
Still 4 members alive, and this is scary. Ghost have a small window here because they had a massive wave push down this left-hand side. So they're going to try and get this Phoenix and get out as fast as possible.
This is a big ultimate from Cyclone Spin, though, to force back the rest of Ghost. That bought the time for Radiance to reset, heal back up, and get into position to defend. They're still without adapting, though, for another 20 seconds, but Ghost are not going to press the issue. They instead head back towards the Oni Fury to try and grab what they consider to be a free objective, but all of Radiance are on the way, and Ghost have sniffed it out. They turn around instead and say, hey, here's the fight, but it's not the one you wanted. They catch them grouped up in the jungle, push Radiance back, and don't get anything there. Instead, they'll have to group up on the Fury, and Adapting has bought a ton of time to respawn. But look at the minions. They're starting to come to the Titan room of Ghost as well, and Radiance are recognizing it. That's why they're pushing forward. Ghost have to back to defend, and Radiance can take the Fury.
And so what you have to do, I think, as Ghost, is understand what Radiance's role is in that moment, and understand that all you really care about is getting the objective and get out. If they're willing to overstep, then you can punish.
Radiance want to try and force a fight while there are still fire minions in right. FineOK has used his ultimate already. It's been forced. Look how low his health bar is, and we've already covered how that limits the effectiveness of the Jormungandr in a pretty big way, and there's still fire minions to worry about in right. And this left Phoenix is coming down low as well. They drop the Suns to try and guarantee there's melee range space. Benji gets the Phoenix. It comes crumbling down, and Ghost to barely put any damage out. Radiance in this late game that they love to play around are starting to look hard to beat. But remember, there's fire minions coming down that left side lane. That's why FineOK was over there. So that's why Ghost feel like they have to step in now. Mike goes with a Blink Driving Strike. Does get the beads out from adapting, it seems, and that's a pretty big get. But they still have to worry about this. They send FineOK over there, but his teleport's already down. So he's hoofing it over there to try and clear those waves. Even Sam has to back. I think Ghost might have to give up the FG. They can't fight in 3v4. There's no way they'll win there. Maybe a steal, but boy is this risky. Benji is the zoning member to try and keep them at bay as the Fire Giant gets lower and lower. No Sam for this, but FineOK is here. Barely gets into the ultimate, but he will not survive. There must have been a dot from Aurora that finds the kill. Meanwhile, Benji continues to move in. Panda Cat out of mana. It's all autos if he's going to find a way to compete from here, and adapting cuts him down, knows he has the res, so gets aggressive on the Mike for a double kill, and that might just be it for Ghost. Sam is on his way with the ultimate, wants to find the execute. That does cut down adapting, but they lose Captain Twig, and Sam cannot defend up against 4 all by himself. Radiance should be punching their ticket to Game 5.
I just don't see a way where Sam is able to make this happen because both Big Man and Cyclone have all their relics. If one of them was an easy kill, maybe you could see the Bloodforge shield happen, but this one's going to be tough.
And the Titan's already at half. Sam can't find his way in. It's really all over but the crying. He does get a big silence, but that is the D aside. And there's no better way for our Phase 1 playoffs to end other than this, all the way to a game number 5 between Ghost and Radiance.
Well, that's it for me and Mifflin, and this is it for the SPL Phase 1 playoffs. Game 5, Ghost versus Radiance. It's Finch and Aggro.
I feel like Ghost has gotten a pretty good draft. They've gotten a pretty good start.
FineOK's in trouble, though, adapting, looking for an early gank over to the solo lane, and Fine was not ready for it. He's already been brought down low. Even the minions putting in a little bit of extra damage, and adapting is just too fast. He'll close the gap. Benji taking first blood by burying FineOK right out of the gate.
And that bought time for the Heavenly Reflection to come up in time.
But Ghost want to answer back. Ting's in trouble in the middle lane, and Captain Twig finds that kill. Now, first blood goes to Radiance, goes to Benji, which puts him ahead of FineOK, but Captain Twig putting down Benji in mid, putting an assist onto Sam as well, that's also pretty scary. Benji's on his way, but it looks like Ghost will be here first. In fact, Benji has been pushed far out of position, rooted, and he does not have the ultimate this time, so Benji has overstepped. Big pull, though, from Aurora into a 2-man driving strike. Adapting is here, but the Sentinel of Zeus makes FineOK a much harder target to kill. In fact, Twig rotates over and gets the kill, and Adapting can't find the chains over the wall. Twig is CC immune, so no one gets pulled, and Adapting is in trouble the second he lands. Disaster for Radiance on the blue buff, as Ghost find 3 huge kills.
Level 1, when he outclears you, because his base damage is more, like, he's just strong from the minute you load in.
It's been powerful here. Mike does get pulled back in by Aurora, but the Thunder Crash is disruptive, but I don't know that Twig expected this much backup. Mike makes it out of there, but Sam dunks onto Adapting, so it ends up being mid laner for jungler, and FineOK is here, catching out Benji, who's suddenly slowed and low, knocked up, and Sam gets the double kill. Ghost are swinging for the fences right now, and it's absolutely working.
And now FineOK looking for more in the mid lane. Blink in, slows down Aurora. Panda Cat's here as well, but Driving Strike buys him some space. Fine still going in. They've got to be careful because coming back from base and he has his ult.
Oh no! Aurora managed to get out of there with a blink. He was never put into combat, but Final K was running towards backup. Sam was on the speed buff, invading it. Adapting, still level 6, is no threat to Sam at this point, who continues to keep up with Fine, his only backup at this point. Ghost have navigated this early game very well, but now they could be in trouble. Radiance have the whole cavalry here, but they can't catch up in time. Ghost are under their tower and get away scot-free again.
Feel like this game is just all in Sam for Soccer's hands now. 4-0-2, a part of every kill. He's 2 levels up on adapting in a very positive matchup for Ravin because that root really hurts Daji. I think that this is a game for Sam to lose at this point. He's got to carry from here.
And he's getting involved again, but Benji finds the avenue for the dash. Played that one pretty nicely, but unfortunately he was just so far out of position. Final K did a great job with the Nike, forcing Benji to commit to the fight, and Sam rotates over for the kill. And Ghost now on the hunt yet, and Cyclone Spin stepping up. Mike blinks in, finds the push, so Cyclone Spin has to jump, but the slow hits from range. Twig gets pushed even closer to Cyclone Spin and finds the kill. Now the Taiko drums can keep the damage coming, but Adapting should be able to find a good pal up, but Twig is out, means Adapting pulls no one. Panda Cat uses the beads to reset, and Sam for Soccer dunks on the Daji, still level 8, but hey, at least his speed is up for him when he respawns.
Play it, again, in a way that you're not going to bite off more than you're ready for.
Considering another blue buff invade, but this time Radiant show up in force. They've got 3 members on this side of the map to push them back. Ting's at the target, but still has the erratic behavior, so we can make it under the tower there. But Ghost now, suddenly with a big grouping here in the middle lane, and Aurora is stuck in between, so Adapting has to come in. He goes right to the back line for Twig, goes up onto the Palau, but the chains by themselves are not enough damage, and he has the CC immunity. And out comes the Sentinel of Zeus that completely flattens Adapting, and not much he can do there. But Sam dies in trade, and it's Cyclone Spin that gets the shutdown. I know they may have lost Adapting, but that's not a bad trade.
I think that it's pretty close in this late game for sure, and just by the way that Radiance has played late game, we got to favor them.
That's right, they've looked pretty dominant there. Aurora tries to start this fight off, but a good amount of damage that's been put out by Radiance, even though Aurora will fall early. But look at Adapting, he's clearly lost this matchup up against Sam in the jungle, so the ultimate and beads both used defensively. Meanwhile, Final K has zoned out the rest of Radiance, so they only get 1 pick, but look at how much space they've earned for themselves, and now they can collapse right back onto the Primal Fury that's being started up by Captain Twig and Panda Cat, and it's going to be hard for Radiance to make their way in.
No way they get in here in time. Final K and PBM just the brick wall. Benji uses his ultimate aggressively. I don't know if that's where you wanted to be, homie. Pushed up against the wall, but Sam, no ultimate. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him.
Ghosts definitely still are in the lead right now. That was a dominant fight between the junglers, but Radiance are going to go for a surprise Fire Giant, but I think Ghosts are smelling it out. They're on their way into contest. Radiance kind of putting all their eggs into this basket right now, and they're sticking to the Fire Giant. They feel like they have to go for it, so Mike gets disruptive. The FG is low. Binoke gets a kill. Radiance take the FG, and Sam is low as well. It's 1-for-1 adapting for PBM, but Sam gets pulled back, rooted, and stays alive just barely with some peel for Captain Twig. Binoke Kalo as well, but he gets out of there, but boy, was that close.
What a great call from Radiance, and now they're going to catch some members. Lazy backing. Sam is going to die underneath the tower. Twig's lost his beads, and Radiance is right back in this game. Unbelievable call after that Gold Fury fight, and Radiance recognize it. They just group up in force. Panda split off to the left, and they take a great fight.
Now perhaps a bit of an overextension by Radiance. It's just 3 of them over here stepping forward, and Ghost are on their way, so Aurora locked down and will for sure be in the back line for Panda Cat and Captain Twig to clean. Meanwhile, Final K is battling it out with Benji, so it was an excellent sequence from Radiance. The start of the Fire Giant, they trade only adapting and get the buff on everybody else, but that attempt on the tier 2 there a bit ambitious, and it ends up costing them Aurora.
Your power spikes and where the enemy team is in theirs.
Benji does get pushed back into the rest of Ghost, though. Great damage to the Percussive Storm, so Twig goes up into the ultimate, tries to put some of the damage onto Adapting, but Tings gets flattened in the backline, but the same is happening to Twig. The first chain lands, the second one is good enough for the kill, so they've traded mid laner for mid laner, but Mike is low as well. Great disruption for the Water Rave, though, so Panda Cat gets a kill, but Cyclone Spin puts an arrow into Sam and brings him down as well. 2 for 2, jungle and mid for jungle and mid, but Benji is absolutely not done. Aurora blinks in with the driving strike to pull out some relics, but Ghost had made back underneath the tier 2 and should be relatively safe.
And with PBM coming back, they might be able to defend this. Cyclone's beads coming back up right on time.
Gets pushed right back towards the rest of the squad, but Aurora gets another two-man push, and they bring everyone too low. Aurora gets Panda Cat, and Cyclone Spin gets the other one. The disaster now for Ghost Gaming as Radiance continue to surge, and as long as they have Cyclone Spin, they have a ton of damage to put into these structures, and what can Mike do by himself? He'll get some backup. Twig is back up in 8 seconds, but this left side Phoenix is done for. Radiance have completely flipped the script. Panda Cat has taken the Bifrost over, so that means it's a much longer cooldown on when he'll have that escape tool. Radiance, though, falling back a bit. Ghost stepping up, but Panda Cat didn't get to clear a lot of the waves. They still have to worry about it in left as Mike blinks in, pushes Adapting to the back, but Polar Bear Mike takes so much damage. He nearly dies for the pleasure. Meanwhile, Fino K's in the back line, knocks up 2. Sam is right there with him, and they get rid of Adapting early. Tings is low as well, but he manages to survive. Puts an apple on the Fino K. That's huge to make it a 1-for-1 trade. Solo laner for jungle. But Ghost are getting through this scary time. If they can go even right now, it's big, but they're not going even if they lose Captain Twig. Thunder Crash gets off, and he rejoins the squad, but Cyclone Spin can't find the damage. The axe lands on the Panda Cat, and there's the auto. That puts down Captain Twig. Radiance are starting to fight back into this one and find some control, and Ghost still have to worry about the left lane. They're still at a numbers disadvantage, and Radiance are starting up the FG.
Now Cyclone Spin still here, still both relics. I mean, he's just looked so strong so far in this game. It's no way for anyone to get into him. That's going to be FG again for Radiance. It's been so crazy that I think Adapting has been the driving force for Radiance all tournament long. He's looked like their best player. He's been initiating, he's been carrying fights, he's been doing so well. In this game, he has been a non-factor. 1-7, bottom of the player damage charts, and they're winning anyways. And that is absolutely nuts. And it's really credit to doing this side lane work from Benji and from Cyclone. I think that those two have been really, really strong this game.
And they're popping the frenzy. They want to try and start this right here and now. Benji is also getting aggressive. The boulder lands on the Twig very early on, and Adapting deletes him. You said we needed more from him. Well, it's showing up now. Polar Bear Mike is low as well, starting to fall back, but Adapting keeps up the pressure. He had 2 people looking at him. Fino K does take care of Cyclone Spin as well, but Benji gets a return. It's 2 for 2 so far, and Radiance are going to keep pushing forward. They know the left side Phoenix is low. They have to grab it here and now while they can. They even pull Sam back in towards Tings so that he finds the kill. It's just Polar Bear Mike and Panda Cat. The dual lane of Ghost is all that still stands to try and defend their base, and Benji is all in, pulling the Titan. They've got Tings right behind them, trying to grab the tournament away from Ghost Gaming, but they cannot do it. They're pushed out by PBM, who keeps this game alive.
Man, Mike just makes so much space right there. Beautiful play from this Kuzenbo, and I think that he can keep on going because Twig is coming up soon, but a great apple from Big Man somehow finds a home.
And Panda Cat's been buried. Aurora has the boulder, and that is it for the Heimdall. Twig is back up, though. Full HP, and even has the ultimate, so this should be able to push them back out. Dazzling Offensive gets countered by the Taiko drums, puts the damage into the back of Radiance as they run away. Ghost hold on to their base, but they're going to keep committing a little further out to make sure that Radiance are retreating. So this game, not over yet. Radiance get the left side Phoenix, but they're definitely still in it. Fire Giant started. Sam is not here. He's way over on red buff. He was pushing up the long lane wave, so he's on the long rotation. Yet Mike got the Maggai's Cloak from Aurora and has brought Adapting low. They put him over the flames, and he falls early. The Fire Giant still leashed for now as Fino K pushes Tings and Cyclone Spin out alone. That means there's no damage. Panda Cat gets the double. Fino K did a tremendous amount of work here as Sam tries to complete it, but this is huge for Ghost. A 2 for 0, and they can head right back to the FG. But Cyclone Spin's not here. He's way over near purple and trying to rotate in. The same was true for Sam last fight, and Ghost won that one, so maybe Radiance can do the same. They've got the Fire Giant low, but they want the fight instead. Sam and Mike are full-on committing to Tings in the backline, but Twig has already been blown up. Beans weren't enough. He needed the AM. Gets the kill in the Tings, though. Both mid laners down early on, but look at how low adapting is. Mike is sticking to him, and Mike finds the kill. Panda Cat fighting 2 frontline tanks by himself. It's too much. He ends up falling. Radiance able to find some kills, but what about Fino K? Cyclone Spin has too much damage. It's a double. That just leaves PBM all alone, and Radiance may have done enough. In fact, Cyclone Spin's just pushing down mid. He could probably end it alone.
Cyclone just won the 2v1 up against Final K and Sam all by himself, and that might be the difference maker. I don't know how Mike ever escapes this or gets back to base in time, and I don't think Captain Twig's coming up either. The Cinderella story might not have hit midnight at all for Radiance.
It seems like it hasn't. The early game was a disaster for the Radiance squad, but Cyclone Spin makes the plays they need. But it looks like they're not going to go for the end. Instead, they ease up. He heads back towards the Fire Giant. Twig was up in 4 seconds, so he could have defended, and Radiance play it safe instead. And that's been their MO here, aggro, to play it safe, to wait for later, and they're going to keep on doing it even at the end.
I mean, imagine how different this game looks if Cyclone dies like a good ADC should. You know, when you're getting dove by the warrior and the jungler, you're supposed to die, right? That's how that works. Instead, Cyclone ends up winning it, and it goes from having 3 people alive to just 1 instead, and eventually 0. So that was absolutely critical for him.
Mike tries to push in Cyclone Spin. That does get the beads out from him, and that is a huge cooldown that Mike was able to earn. The left side Phoenix is weak, but Fino K goes to the back right away. So does Adapting, trying to get Twig, but he has to use every relic just to live. Thunder Crash gets him out, and Panda Cat puts Adapting down. Sam for Soccer makes that as well. Polar Bear Mike just up to Cyclone Spin. Ghost lose their left side Phoenix, but they're winning the fight. It's a double for Panda Cat. He puts down Benji as well, and Aurora and Tings are on the full retreat. Can Ghost make anything happen with this window they now have? Radiance know they've got the advantage, though they're pressing the issue on the Fire Giant. Frenzy popped as well by Aurora and Mike, starting to get shredded. So Twig just goes into the ultimate to try and heal. He gets so little value out of it, and Benji continues to wreak havoc. Fino K in the backline is melting and already falling. Aurora gets the kill, and Radiance with the numbers advantage push Ghost further back. Their left side Phoenix is up, but now they have to worry about these Oni minions pushing it as well. They're down a man, and Radiance playing it patiently. They're so methodical in this late game, and it feels hard to beat.
Still, there was enough damage on the Radiance that they're going to play this slowly, but seeing everyone from Ghost start to back up with their ward coverage should be enough information to let them know that this is safer.
Twig steps up, he's the furthest member forward, and suddenly he's in trouble. Beads have to be used. Thunder Crash allows him to reposition, so he holds on to his life for now, but there's no way he can be a part of this fight any longer. And there's the blink in. They're going to catch Captain Twig trying to back, so Aegis gets forced out from him. Aurora, if he can find the kill here, it'd be huge. Thunder Crash off the mark as Sam falls elsewhere, but Aurora dies, and Twig able to outlive it all. And Cyclone Spin is low, but an errant orb coming out from the unruly magic able to bring him back down, but Radiance are in no shape to do the Fire Giant. Both teams have to retreat, but the left side Phoenix is under siege. A minion wave is on the way to threaten it. Radiance now starting to push down left. They've got minions pushed up there. Minions pushed up in mid, and minions relatively close over in right. And Benji just walking in and threatening it, and I think that he is right. Look at the damage output for Benji at this. He can absolutely tank it. Finally has to give up when Sam shows up, but he's pulled Sam away so that Radiance can threaten in left.
With an enhanced Fire Giant and a 3k pot, you ignore so much of a structure's protections that you can't really stop it. If I'm Sam, I think you actually have to give this up, because I don't think that you can effectively stop Benji from getting this Phoenix.
I'm honestly surprised that Benji backed up at all. Dazzling Offensive will be used to try and lock Sam down. Aegis, just in case he came for him with a third charge, he goes in with the Mystic Rush, and Sam puts Benji down, but he dies to the minions afterwards. So it's a 1-for-1 jungle for solo, but Benji's so impactful that might be a win for Ghost. but just didn't have enough health to survive afterwards. So that saves the right side Phoenix for now. For the rest of the Ghost can focus on left. Aurora starts to step in, but he takes too much damage. Mike grabs him, pulls him back. The Thunder Crash too late, but the Taiko drums will collect him. Meanwhile, Fino K has gotten the better of adapting on the mid Phoenix, forced him up onto the Palau, and can continue to chase him with this Rend. A Phoenix shot will kill him. A 3-for-1 for Ghost as they defend yet again. Gonna be a difficult defense, a tightrope for Radiance to walk. 30 seconds of time to buy before his Aurora is back up to help or B3 under the middle Phoenix. Already putting damage into the mid Phoenix is Panda Cat. They've got it down to half. Mike in the back line is keeping everybody out, and the mid Phoenix is down. So now the question, how much do Ghosts stay? They've lost Fino K, but they get Cyclone Spin as well with Twig going in with the Thunder Crash. He has the turnaround damage onto Benji to bring him down as well, but Ting's still up, and Aurora will be back in 6 seconds. Panda Cat can't get the kill on the Tings. He's trying to insist we can end the game, but can they truly? Twig goes to the Taiko drums and does put good damage into Twig, but has to rejoin the squad, goes to retreating. I think I get it too, man. They have been doing such a great job so far of defending that you don't want to throw this game away on one risky end call, especially when now it's not just parity. They've got that mid Phoenix down. There's fire minions that Radiance have to worry about. The advantage is in Ghost Corner. That's why they're starting up the Fire Giant. It's up to Aurora and Adapting to find some kind of steal. They're the only ones here. Sam goes in first, but Adapting's up onto the Palau. They fully reset off of the Fire Giant for the fight, but they really don't get much there either. They've used 2 ultimates, and Radiance have fully defended. Now they got their whole squad here. Fire Giant is now starting to be burned by Ghost. They bring it down to about half, and they have Adapting is. Fire Giant unleashed. Ghost want the fight. They know Adapting is isolated, and he doesn't have an ult. They've got kill potential. Fino K drops his ultimate as Twig survives the pressure from Benji. This is good for Ghost so far, and Fino K keeps up the pressure, but they can't get all the way back there. Radiant fully retreat and protect their backline, so Ghost have to come back to the FG. So Radiant start to fall back, but Ghost are still in control of the Fire Giant pivot. Radiance have given up a lot of this spacing, so if Ghost are willing to burn it, they might be able to get this. Fino K keeps Aurora out, but Adapting is making his way in as well. Benji and Tings are nearby. The Frenzy Pop, the Taiko drums comes out as well, and Radiance are the ones that get the Fire Giant. Twig in trouble in the back of the fight. He does have Aegis used it first, and Tings is already dropped. Ghost get the kill into Adapting as well as Sam for Soccer puts him down. Aurora falls, but Benji comes in to clean up the kill onto Twig. A 3-for-2 in favor of Ghost, but Cyclone Spin should have Fino K dead to rights over here in right. His damage is way too much for Fino K to output, and Cyclone Spin puts him down 3-for-3.
What a game, Finch. I hope you didn't have anywhere to be tonight, because going the distance, full hour-long game for Game 5. It's fun, man. That's what makes these tournaments fun. And they did a good job of recovering. Panda Cat has had a phenomenal game on this Heimdall, man. He's been popping.
It's an odd fight here. The Fire Giant's already claimed, but goes in first. Ton of damage onto Twig. He's been chained as well, but makes his way out of there as Adapting won't pull anyone. Blink has to be used to disengage, but he's running right towards Mike. He's got Fino K dogging him as well, and Adapting gets the kill, gets the Bloodforge proc as well, and he's still alive. Remember the awful early game Adapting had, but he's continuing to show up for them here in the late.
I mean, that's a huge play that he's out. Now Captain Twig is going to be in trouble. Smart to not proc the slow on the Raiju until a little bit later on, but Benji's got that Frostbound. Holy! 19 HP in a dream for Captain Twig. And now you're talking about those 3 K-Pots that were bought. They've fallen off. It's a matter of how many more can you purchase another one up until this point. We're talking 2, 3 K-Pots at a time now.
Tings gets pulled back in, or rather Twig thrown to the wolves and dies instantly. Cyclone Spin gets the kill. Radiance now with the 5v3. The advantage all in their court. What an axe from Cyclone Spin on a Fino K, but Sam jumps in, but Radiance were ready. They lock him down. Aegis immune to the damage, but Adapting from the Palau pulled him in, put Sam down for a little bit of late game revenge. Well, what about Fino K? Can he hold on a bit further? The rest of Radiance on mid Phoenix, but look at these low health bars. Panda Cat is back. Polar Bear Mike is back as well, and they can start swinging. Ghost Gaming able to defend their base, even get the kill on the Tings, so they can look to push a bit more.
Just Panda Cat, bro. 54K for this man, and now he's looking for the man fight 50 minutes into the game.
against the enemy hunter. Cyclone, I don't think, can end up getting out of this. FineOK's got the right trajectory in order to try and take him down.
Yeah, finds him with the rend, the axe off the mark. That should largely do it for him at this point because Cyclone's spin is starting to run out of options. The knockup is there. Aurora comes in for a little bit of peel, but in comes Polar Bear Mike, pushing Cyclone's spin back. Cyclone actually gets a ton of damage off, and that's why Panda Cat dies as well. Polar Bear able to reposition because there's damage coming. Benji, Aurora, adapting, all bearing down on him. Uses the Watery Grave to buy some time, but ends up falling as Benji gets the kill. Now it's just FineOK left. He has to defend left as well. A lot on the young man's plate.
Well, you know what they say, Finch. The 6th Fire Giant is the charm for Ghost Gaming, and they gotta kind of hope for that. And they're going to have to do it 4v5 because Sam is all the way at the enemy purple trying to deal with these own fire imps.
FineOK takes a lot of damage for free. Benji takes some return from the Percussive Storm. Frenzy popped by Aurora. It's adapting going in. Up onto the powwow to try and find someone to pull. FineOK keeps everybody out. He buys so much space for the squad, and Sam should be able to rotate in. It's Radiance who are low. Polar Bear Mike is able to take care of adapting. Sam now has flanked them, and he's point blank with Cyclone Spin. Aurora goes down to Panda Cat's pressure, and Radiance have to retreat. It was largely a 4v5, and Ghost absolutely handled it.
And instead of going for enhanced FG with 3 people up and all of them having ultimates, instead they go for Phoenix. I like it.
Polar Bear Mike blinks to the back line. FineOK joins him with a leap in. The mid Phoenix is being shredded at this point. Tycho drums from Twig, needs to find some big value, but instead he gets very, very little. Only 1 tick. Onto the Titan Go Ghost, though. This is for all the marbles. Stilo Sam forces back into the fountain. The Titan is starting to crumble, and Ghost Gaming will claim Phase 1 as your playoff victors.
What a game, man. Just like we drew it up for Ghost, right? Sam super far ahead, easy for them. I was worried there, Finch, because that was a split call by Ghost because Sam was ulting on a Cyclone trying to get him out of the fight. They didn't dump everything into the Titan, but it turns out you've got enough damage in the tank, whatever, it's 63 minutes into the game. My goodness, what a set. What a tournament for Ghost. I mean, they didn't lose a game all the way up until the finals, but you really can't overstate how well Radiance played here this whole weekend, man. What a performance from every single one of those players individually. They should be very proud of what they did.